back out. It's spring, finally. I'm tired of winter. I don't generally come out to the farm much on winter because I hate winter, and I'm not going to be out here working unless it's pretty. And it's a little cloudy right now, but the sun's been out, and it is a beautiful spring day. We're in March, so time to get the trees cleaned out again. Working on these big root balls. Got one there, and then there's two giant ones in the fence line up there. So eventually I'm going to get in there and limb them and clean this all up and make it into firewood. My number one priority right now is to get the root balls separated and back down into the ground. So my brother-in-law, he loves to do chainsaws. He loves them. And he's got a couple of chainsaws, and his is bigger. I've got one to limb, but I don't have one big enough to cut a giant stump like that. And those trees that are over there are way bigger than this one. So pretty massive trees, and I just need to get the root ball back down. So what I'm going to do is use my weed eater and my little chainsaw to kind of clean out around the stumps, so that he can come in just one day and he'll just chop them off, and then we'll flip them over with the tractor if we need to. I think they're just going to fall right back over, but if they don't, we'll pull them over with a chain and get them back into the ground. And then once all that's done, I'm going to come in and start limbing them, and I'm just going to use them for firewood. I'm not sure I'm going to take out the giant logs. I'm not quite sure on what I'm going to do with those. I will probably get them out, chop them up, and split them. I don't have anything else to do, so I may just split firewood all year. I think 4 giant trees, though, is going to take a long time. 2 of them are laying on my property, so I can definitely chop those up and limb those, and I definitely will. The other 2 were on our property line, and they fell onto the neighbor's property, and he doesn't really seem to care that they're laying there, and they're massive, and I probably won't get to those. I have other projects that I'll take before I start limbing those. Because I'm going to have plenty of wood out of these 2. I'll be burning firewood for the next freaking 5 years based off this project. So that's my spring project. So you can kind of see how big the root balls are. I'm up on the ground, and it goes down in a hole. But even just up on the ground, it's taller than I am. So, I mean, it's about a foot taller than I am, so they're big. And that one over there is just as big. And those back there, one of those back there is twice as tall as this one. I mean, it is massive. And it was such a big tree, it dragged down another tree when it went. So there's 2 trees right over there that are next to each other. Big job. And there's briar bushes all in here, so I've got to get those chopped out so we can move in and out of this area and do what we need to do easily. All right, so I weed eated around the tree, just around both sides. There's some bigger trees, like saplings, that I'm going to use the chainsaw to cut out. But that at least got it where I could walk around. All right, so it's all cleaned out. I cleaned out all this. There was a tree, a big bush coming out of there, blocking all this. And then there was vines all up in these trees that I had to pull out. You can still see some of them up there. And then I got in here and cleaned all this out. I think our property line it's right underneath that log right there, and it goes back up this way. So that's my goal, is I want to get all this cleaned out where I can walk the back of the property line and get these out of the way. I mean, this thing, I'm down below it now. Like I'm standing here beside this log that's on the ground that probably has a rattlesnake underneath it. I'm 4 or 5 feet shorter than the root ball. So hopefully we can get Mr. Justin to come over, chop that, and then that just falls back. If not, we'll put a chain around this and we'll tractor it and we'll pull it up. All right, my chainsaw, I printed off my instructions because when I was starting it before, like every man on earth, I didn't read the instructions, and I bought a brand new chainsaw, and after the first time I used it, it wouldn't start again. So I took it in, and I figured it was just like a weed eater engine, and the guys at the chainsaw shop said it was flooded. They fixed it in like 2 minutes. but they told me I just got to be real careful that you can't flood a chainsaw. So I read the instructions, I've memorized them, and then I also printed them off and brought them with me. And it ran perfectly that time. It started just like the instructions said, and then it ran perfectly. All right, holy moly, this is the big one right here. So, I mean, that is substantially taller than me. There's a hole that's about 4 feet deep right here. I don't even want to go, I wouldn't even stand in that hole for fear that that giant root ball would fall on me and and murder me. I'd like to get a picture, but I don't even trust the tree. I think it would try to kill me. But I mean, you can see, I mean, let me get up closer to it so you can actually see how tall this thing is. I mean, like I can't even reach the top of it. It's probably another 4 feet high from where I can touch. So that's crazy big. And then there's another one. You know, that tree was so big that when it fell, I guess it drug another tree down with it. And there are some big oak trees up and down this fence line. You know, there's a couple up through there. I hope they don't blow over. And then there's a couple of gigantic ones down this, 2 gigantic ones there. You know, and I'm hoping they don't blow over either. Anyway, the goal here is to get this giant root ball back in the ground and then maybe get over there and chop up some of that for firewood, but that's less of a concern. It's mainly just to fill up this giant hole. So I mean, I want to put a path up through here where I can get to this back field, and you know, it's just a giant tree that has been blown over, and it's got a giant hole here, so I've got to get the root ball back down so I can get this leveled back out and probably take out some other trees and make it where I can easier to access this field. I might actually make my road go through here and leave some of this, and it depends on what kind of trees those are. Like if that's a good tree, I may leave it. The leaves aren't on them, and I'm not a good tree guy, but that looks like a decent tree that might be able to replace that one in 100 years. So today I got to take out this cedar tree. I got to take out this, I don't know what this is, probably a cherry. I'm going to leave this guy because I think it might be decent. But I've got to also cut this fence out. There's a metal fence, and there's one up there as well. So I've got to get it where I can get in and access that trunk to cut it on both those trees. And then inside there, you know, there's a bunch of brush and stuff that I got to get cut out. I've just got to get to that point where I can chop that tree, let this thing fall, and then we can deal with that later. That can stay. That's actually on my neighbor's property, and he's cleared a lot of this and pushed it into brush piles, so I don't think he cares. I think he's just going to let it lay there and rot, which is fine if that's what he wants to do. But I got to get this root ball back down because it's ripped up my property. And this all happened before we bought the place, but it's my problem to fix, I guess. All right, so I got this side cleaned out. I got the fence row cut out all the way down to there. I just peeled that back right there. And then I cut down the tree that was there. I'm going to leave this cedar. I'll pull it later. It's not in the way for what we're trying to do. And then I cleaned out all the ground brush so we can get in there and access easily. And then I put back I put some branches and some fence back in just to keep, maybe if somebody's trying to cut through our property, maybe it'll deter them a little bit. But I can easily pull that back out. It takes 2 seconds. And then we'll get in there and chop the tree up. So I'm going to take a lunch break and I may be done for the day. And then I'll do the other side next. There's a lot of brush up on that side. So I'm back out. We're coming out tomorrow to cut these stumps down, but I came back out today to clear out this last area over here with so we can get down to the trees. So I've cut the metal fence out and peeled it back. So now I can get in there. But here's the thing, I just found I thought there were 2 trees. There's 3. There's a tree right there. And then there's the one I cleaned out the other day. And there's a giant one in the middle. Didn't even see it. So I've got a little more clearing out today than I thought I did. because now I've got to jump a tree, get in the middle, clean it out. What a debacle. So I got 5 trees to cut out instead of 4. And they're huge. Should be fun. I'm trapped in these woods. I'm gonna dig my way out. I've actually already dug my way out. 3 trees, not 2. I thought it was just this one and that one, because that's all I could see from the fence row. But once I got it cleaned out, there's another tree in here. So that adds to our workload tomorrow. But I've got it all cleaned out. Cleaned out all this. Cut out, there were trees growing in here. This had grown up. These trees have been down a while. So there were trees growing into the trees. You can see this one. And then there was cedar trees and all kind of trees growing in here. So they're all gone. I left some of the wire on here because these trees are so big, the wire fence went on both sides of it. So I left that because there's barbed wire in the tree. So I left that so we could make sure we could see where we were cutting. So we'll probably cut above the wire because we don't want to cut into wire. But I cut all the wire out of everywhere else. And that one is so far on the ground that we may have to dig it out just so he's not putting his chainsaw blade in the dirt. You know, that root ball is huge. And I'm not really excited about standing between 2 giant trees on a hill that are also, you know, have big branches. This thing could roll. Hopefully it would roll down the hill. So whatever we do, we're going to be safe. Safety first. Mr. Justin is here. Look at those giant chainsaws. Good God. You sure they want to go in this crappy truck? They're used to riding in this big, look at this big, it's a freaking spaceship.
They're excited to get out today.
They're going to be in this old pile of junk. Can't stop Mr. Justin. He is ready to go to work.
Alright, we gotta clear ourselves a little
Look for rattlesnakes.
spot here.
I bet there's something down in there.
Out of here.
Get these copperheads out of here.
Just clearing out some of this dirt.
All right, I gotta put my stuff on and get to work. Can't be filming all day. This is tree number 1. All right, so he cut through there. We're trying to figure out how to get it to tip over. So he's gonna cut this section out now. I'm gonna get on the high side because it's gonna roll my way. Tree number 2. He's already made 1 cut, making the second. It didn't budge.
If we're really stubborn.
How much you think that root ball weighs? I'm gonna say 3,000 pounds. And my truck's just gonna spin. It ain't gonna do a damn thing. We'll see. So we got a chain wrapped around here. We'd rather have it up here to get the leverage, but there's nothing to attach to because it's so rotten. Yeah. And then what's about to happen is I'm gonna pull, and then that chain's gonna come loose in the middle, and it's gonna shoot the chain through the cab in the back of my skull. So anyway, let's do that. We're pulling in the big guns now. This little tractor will get the tree over no problem. I don't know about this, but we're gonna give it a try. Truck plus tractor and see if we can make it happen. We're gonna clear all this brush out of our way. We're gonna come in straight at it. All right, chain around tree root ball. Mr. Justin on tractor, pushing root ball. Truck pulling root ball. I don't think it's gonna work, but we're gonna see. This is the main event. If this doesn't work, we're gonna try to lift with the tractor while we pull. But we're gonna give this a whirl first. See what happens. So far the root ball has not budged. All right, that didn't work. That didn't work at all. That root ball didn't budge as expected. So we're gonna start cutting up other things now. And now Gran and Golf Ball are here. Happy birthday, Gran.
Thank you.
Nothing to you. You don't get nothing. And we're waiting on Emily to show up and ring the dinner bell. But I'm listening. I don't hear a dinner bell ringing, so I guess we're stuck down here with no food. We'll just die. Out of gas. Susie's here. Justin is here. Granny Golf Ball is here. Taylor's here. AJ's here. Is Kayla here?
No, she's working.
I didn't know AJ was coming.
I know, surprise.
Oh, what a surprise. Look at him, Mr. Worldwide. So we're having a lunch. Gran's birthday. Her birthday was yesterday, so we're having a little picnic lunch today. Then we're back to work. Go ahead and start it.
You have to open something first.
AJ's about to start this tractor by himself.
No, you have to open something first. Oh, I saw a bunch of smoke coming out of that.
Did you hear it? It's got to start.
Like I saw all the smoke coming out of it.
See, it's ready. See how this goes.
I hope that cedar tree doesn't get caught in it. The whole tree's gonna roll? Oh, there it goes. No, timber!
How about that?
Freaks me out.
Wow.
Good job, Justin.
Woo, you got 2 erections.
That's how they're supposed to fall.
Oh, that cannot get cut out of the video.
God, is that a freaking full-blown lumberjack we have right here? Look at what he just did.
I think
think he needs to moonlight in Pigeon Forge at the lumberjack
Yeah, you need to
show.
be in a show in Pigeon Forge or something.
Maybe we can have a show here.
And now he's asking for a shovel, and I'm so stupid I don't even have a shovel for him. I'm holding the lumberjack up. Look at that freaking hole.
Go get it.
It's crazy.
Oh, it wants to.
This man came in with a flurry of activity.
Well, he needed to get through lunch before he was ready.
He was not even won't need lunch before he come down here and did this. Look at this destruction. He's like from Oregon. Good God. Just utter carnage back here. He just will not stop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
And then over there.
9 giant. My little saw wouldn't have made a dent in those things. I'd be out here all day to get one cut. And then those 2 literal Oregon forest. He mowed the entire forest over there. What a beast. I'm going to turn my man card in today to Mr. Justin and let him punch it for me. Because all I did was sit and watch. I'll make a video though so you can at least send it to somebody.
Watcher.
Yeah, I was in charge of safety. So we had a pretty successful day. It was actually several days. You know, I'd been out several days and weekends before. We actually went out to do all the cutting, to get everything cleaned out. And then we had a pretty successful weekend. I did not get what I wanted accomplished. I really wanted all 5 of those tree stumps to just roll right into the hole. And we only got 2 of the 5 to do that. And that just is a project for another day. So I'm probably going to have to get like an excavator or something and kind of dig out a little bit and get them where they'll get some leverage on them and get them falling into the hole. But that's a project for another day. There seems to always be a project for another day. Now, another project for another day. So we ended up the day up here, and he decided that he would just cut up some of these bigger stumps, and then I could split them later. And that's the other project for the other day, is lots of splitting and more limbing. So I'll probably spend the greater part of 2023 taking care of all that.